Have you ever bumped into someone you know? You can see their face clear as day. You even remember the last time you spoke. And then their name floats right out of reach. It's like it's sitting on the tip of your tongue, waving at you from a distance. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. I've had viewers tell me they feel embarrassed, even a little worried, when names don't come right away. But here's the truth. Forgetting names isn't a sign that something's wrong. It's a sign that your brain is busy. And the best part? There are quick little moves, 10-second moves, that can bring a name back fast and help it stick the next time. That's exactly what we're doing today. 7 recall tricks that work in 10 seconds, especially designed for moments when you want to feel confident, connected, and sharp. Why does this matter so much after 60? Because names are tiny bridges. They turn that nice lady from church into Mary, which turned a polite nod into a real conversation and a quick hello into a friendship. Names tell people, I see you and you matter to me. And when you start using these simple tools, you'll feel that little lift of confidence that makes social moments easier and a lot more fun. Let's get you a win right away with something you can do the very next time you meet someone. Picture this. You're at the grocery store. Your neighbor introduces you to his cousin. You hear, "Hi, I'm Nancy," and you've got about 10 seconds to make Nancy stick. Try this. Look, lock, and loop. First, look. Give your eyes 2 seconds to really see one detail about her face. Maybe her bright earrings or her warm smile. Then lock. In your mind, attach your name to that detail with a quick, silly picture. Nancy Fancy. Imagine a sparkling fancy necklace hanging from those earrings. Fancy Nancy, just for you. Silly works because the brain loves unusual. Finally, loop. Say the name back once or twice in a warm, natural way. Nice to meet you, Nancy. Or, how long have you been in town, Nancy? That's it. Look, lock, loop. You didn't need to slow the moment down or make it awkward. You simply gave your brain something vivid to grab, and then you looped it back out loud, so it could take root. If you're thinking, but I don't want to sound like a parrot, remember, people love hearing their name once or twice right after they say it. It feels personal. Keep it gentle and woven into what you say anyway, and it comes across as kind, not canned. And here's a little boost. When you spot Nancy later down the bread aisle and you see those earrings, your brain will tug on that fancy necklace you imagine and hand you the name before the awkward pause even starts. Now, what if you missed that first beat? Or maybe you heard the name, but you're not sure you caught it right. There's a trick for that too, and it's smooth as butter. Ask an anchor. In the moment someone says their name, ask a tiny follow-up that makes them repeat it and gives you a second to secure it. Is that Kathy with a K or a C? Do you go by Rob or Robert? Did I hear that right, Lena? People appreciate when you care enough to get it right. While they answer, anchor it to where you met or one small fact you learned in that same breath. If she says Catherine with a C, your mind quietly labels her as Catherine from choir, blue scarf. That's a 10-second investment that pays you back all evening. Anchoring works because our brains remember connections better than lone facts. A floating name is slippery. A name attached to a place, a person, or a detail sticks. So in the flow of your conversation, sprinkle it just once more. Catherine, I'll look for you near the Altos next Sunday. Even if you never say those words out loud, simply thinking them ties name to place, to choir, to Sunday, to the color blue, and suddenly you've given your memory 3 hooks instead of 1. Let's add another quick move that feels almost like a game. I call it the mental name tag. Imagine the person's name printed in bold right above their shoulder, like a little floating label, in a color that fits them or the moment. Bill? Picture BLL in green, like a dollar bill. Rose? See a red name blooming just above her lapel. As you talk, flick your eyes to that imaginary tag for half a second. At the same time, press your thumb lightly against your index finger and trace the first letter once. That tiny motion tells your brain, we care about this. You're using a visual cue and a touch cue together, which is like hitting save on a computer. You might smile here and think, this sounds a bit silly. Silly is your secret weapon. Vivid pictures and tiny physical cues are easy for the brain to retrieve in a hurry. And it doesn't look odd. No one sees your imaginary name tag, and that gentle thumb trace is something we all do without noticing when we're listening. Later, if you blank for a second, glancing at their shoulder might nudge your brain into replaying the picture of that red rose, where your thumb will remember there you traced and the name will snap back. That's 10 seconds well spent. There's another hidden benefit to these tiny, intentional steps. They buy you time in social moments without any awkwardness. When you look and lock a detail, you're naturally smiling and paying close attention. When you ask and anchor, you're showing care and curiosity. When you picture that name tag and trace a letter, you look engaged. You're not wrestling your memory into submission. You're gently guiding it while making the other person feel good. That's a win-win, and it's part of why these tricks work so well at any age. Sometimes folks tell me, I used to be great with names, but it's harder now. Here's a comforting thought. Your memory isn't a bookshelf. It's a living garden. You don't need to force it. You plant quick seeds and let them sprout. These 10-second moves are seeds. A vivid image, a sincere repeat, a tiny question, a pretend name tag, and a thumb trace. Do one or two of them and watch how often a name that used to slide away suddenly shows up right when you need it. If you're worried about doing all of this in the middle of a conversation, keep it simple. Pick one move per moment. If you already feel comfortable saying a name back naturally, do that and add just one anchor, place color or feature. If you don't like repeating names right away, skip the loop and use the mental tag. You don't have to be perfect. You just need one quick hook. With practice, these become automatic, like buckling your seatbelt. They'll happen in the background while you enjoy the chat. Let me share a tiny true-to-life example. You're at your grandson's soccer game, and another grandparent introduces herself. Hi, I'm Denise. You notice her denim jacket. There's your look. You lock it with a picture. Denise Denim, a denim name tag right on her pocket. You loop it once, warmly. Great to meet you, Denise. 5 seconds, maybe 6. Later, you see her by the snack stand, and the jacket is your cue. The denim name tag pops into your mind, and so does Denise. No stress, no scramble. Just a smooth hello that feels good on both sides. As you keep using these, you'll find your confidence growing. And confidence itself is a recall trick. Because tension is the enemy of memory. When you trust that you have a handful of quick moves, your mind stays calm, and calm minds remember. The goal isn't to never forget. The goal is to have graceful, simple ways to bring names back fast and make them stick for next time. You've already got a few powerful tools in your pocket, and they take seconds. Look, lock, and loop to give your brain a vivid anchor. Ask an anchor to confirm and connect. Picture that mental name tag and trace the first letter to save it with a touch. Each one is friendly, subtle, and kind, and each one tells the person in front of you, you matter enough for me to remember. With that foundation in place, it gets even easier to handle those moments when a name slips away anyway, because there's a fast way to pull it back without the fluster and without drawing attention to it at all. So let's talk about that exact moment when a name just slides away and you feel the little jolt of panic. You're mid-conversation, Everything's going fine, and suddenly your mind is an empty room. Here's the calm fix that works in real life. Smile, soften your shoulders, and use a graceful reset. It sounds like this: I want to say your name, but my mind just went blank for a second. Would you remind me? Say it with warmth, not apology, and keep eye contact. Most people respond with kindness because we've all been there. The magic is in what you do next, because a reminder is your second chance to lock it in. As soon as they say it, Denise, repeat it gently once. Thank you, Denise, and attach one quick anchor. Maybe you notice her denim jacket again, and you think, Denise in denim. You've taken a moment that could feel awkward and turned it into a connection, and the whole thing takes less than 10 seconds. If that sentence feels hard to say, try one that fits your voice. I want to get this right. Tell me your name one more time. Or, names are important to me and I lost yours. Could you help me out? You're not confessing a flaw. You're showing care. And after you hear it again, finish strong by asking a tiny follow-up to cement it. Denise, are you here every Saturday for the games? That little tag, saying the name with a simple question, stitches it into the moment. You're not dragging attention to the slip. You're moving forward with confidence. Sometimes you don't want to ask right away because you're sure it's in there. When you feel that flicker of almost remembering, use the alphabet jog. It's surprisingly effective. Take a quiet breath, soften your forehead, and run the alphabet in your head at an easy walking pace. A, B, C. When one letter feels a touch brighter, pause there. Your brain often remembers the first letter even when the full name is hiding. If you feel a tug at them, whisper in your mind and see what pops up: Mary, Margaret, Marcia. While you're doing this, let your thumb and index finger tap once for each letter, a tiny, private rhythm that keeps you calm. You're not staring into space. You're listening and nodding like you normally would. And if you're not sure you can do the whole alphabet without losing track of the conversation, pick just the first 5 letters and see if one clicks. If not, try the next 5. It's quick, it's discreet, and you'll be surprised how often your memory leaps forward when you land on the right sound. A small tweak makes the alphabet jog even faster. Pair it with the shape of the name. Some names feel round and soft: Molly, Nora, Rosie. Others feel sharp: Kate, Chris, Jack. If you sense a soft sound, steer your skin toward those letters that tend to match: M, N, R. If you sense a crisp start, lean toward K, C, J. You're giving your brain a gentle suggestion, not a test. When you hit the right first letter, the rest often tumbles out. And if it doesn't, you still have that graceful reset in your back pocket, ready to turn the moment friendly. Another quick way to fish the name back is the twin link. Think of someone you already know and love with the same name and make them shake hands in your mind. If you meet a new Robert, picture him shaking hands with your cousin Robert. If you meet a Sandy and your neighbor is also Sandy, imagine them both in one frame, standing by the same mailbox. If it's a name you don't have a twin for, reach for a famous face. Oprah, Elvis, Tina, Serena. Any clear image will do. Your brain loves connections it already knows, and linking the new person to a familiar name slashes the time it takes for a recall. The next time you see the new Robert, your mind will replay that handshake with your cousin, and the name will arrive on cue. You could even turn twin linking into a quick conversation flourish that makes the other person smile. Robert? I've got a Robert in the family too. Great name. You've made it personal, and you reinforce a memory by saying it out loud. If you want to strengthen it further, add one tiny difference to your mental picture. Cousin Robert in a red sweater, new Robert in a blue cap. Contrast helps. 2 seconds to imagine it, and you've sorted them neatly without confusion later. Now, what if you remember everything about the person except the name? You remember where you met, what you talked about, the story about their dog. Everything but that one word. Use a fast context rewind. In your head, slide back to the last scene you shared. See the place. Hear a line you both said. Notice one smell or sound. We were by the coffee urn at church. She was holding a cinnamon roll. We laughed about the napkins falling. As you recreate the tiny details, your brain follows the path you walked before, and names often sit right on that path. If it still doesn't pop, turn the context into a friendly question. How's your beagle doing with new leash? That question often triggers their name to bubble up because your brain replays the earlier conversation and fetches the missing label with it. Even if it doesn't, you've kept the chat warm and you always have that honest reset line ready. Here's a quick picture of how these play out together in real life. You're at your community center art class, and a gentleman says hello. You know him. You remember he paints boats. His name is, it's hovering. You take a soft breath, let your shoulders drop, and start a slow alphabet. A, B, C. At D, you feel a flicker. You think of dock and dinghy. Boats again. David? That feels warm. You test it by asking a natural question that lets you use the name if it lands right. Did you finish that harbor scene, David? If his eyes light up, you nailed it. If not, he'll smile and gently correct you, and you say, "Thank you, Daniel, I wanted to get it right," and keep going. Either way, you've handled it gracefully, and you got the name pegged with boats and a letter D for next time. One more tiny move that helps under pressure is a micro pause when you feel the blank. Give yourself 3 silent seconds to breathe in slowly through your nose and out through your mouth while you keep listening. Think soften, say. Soften your face. See one detail. Say the name in your head if you have it, or say their anchor out loud. I loved your story about the apricot tree. That micro pause shuts down the surge of adrenaline that makes names slip through your fingers. Calm is the oil on the hinge. Everything opens more easily when you're not forcing it. And when you meet someone with a less common name, save it in a snap by turning it into a tiny sound and spell. It's Jamila. You echo with interest, Jamila, tapping your thumb 3 times, 1 for each beat, and ask, is that Jamila? People with unique names are used to questions and usually welcome them when they come with respect. You've just created a rhythm and a spelling that your brain can replay in seconds. Later, when you see her, your fingers will remember the 3 taps and your mind will sing the name back to you on cue. All of these moves are small enough to tuck into ordinary moments without drawing attention. That's important because names live in social spaces and you want tools that keep connection front and center. You're not stepping out of conversation to hunt. You're staying in it, letting your brain do its quiet work while you stay present. The more you practice, the more automatic they feel, and the faster your recall becomes. You'll start to notice that you aren't bracing for that awkward gap anymore. You're trusting your toolkit, and that trust itself frees up memory. Keep leaning into what feels natural for you. If the alphabet jog clicks, use it. If the twin link makes you smile, make it your go-to. If you like the honest reset, keep that sentence handy and wear it with pride. The goal isn't to be a name wizard. It's to create easy, kind moments where you and the person in front of you feel seen. And you're already doing that 1 10-second skill at a time. Group settings can be the trickiest, can't they? Someone introduces 3 people in a row. There's chatter, maybe a little background noise, and 10 seconds later, all the names feel like leaves in the wind. Here's a calm way to hold them without turning the moment into homework. Think spots and props. As you meet each person, place their name on the spot they're standing, left, middle, right, and tie it to one tiny prop you notice. This is Linda, Bob, and Sue. You glance left and see Linda's lilac scarf. In the middle, Bob's baseball cap. On the right, Sue's silver bracelet. In your mind, you say it in one smooth line. Linda, lilac left, Bob, baseball middle, Sue, silver right. Then sprinkle the names back gently as you talk. Sue, did you paint that sunflower? Bob, how long have you played softball? Those little touches are quick, natural, and they glue the names to the room in a way your brain can replay when you glance back across the group. If the group moves around and switches places, keep your anchors with the person, not the chair. The scarf, the cap, the bracelet, those go with them. If someone takes off a jacket or a hat, toss in a second anchor on the fly. Maybe Bob laughs with a big, bright laugh. Baseball cap becomes big laugh Bob. It takes a couple seconds and keeps the name from floating away when the scene changes. Another moment you can use to lock names in is a goodbye. Right before you part, give yourself a 5-second walk-away replay. As you stand up or step back to leave, softly say the names once in your head while you picture the anchors. Denise in denim, David with the dock painting, Rose with the red lapel pin. If it feels natural, say one out loud as you wave. So good to see you, Rose. That little farewell echo is like hitting save at the end of a document. It's quick, it's kind, and it tells your future self exactly where to find a name later. If technology is your friend, you can do a tiny note after you step away, not during a conversation. That breaks the connection. But a few steps later, just a whisper into your phone or scribble on a small card. Met Nancy, fancy earrings, neighbor's cousin. It takes 5 to 10 seconds, and it's only for you. For a low-tech version, quietly trace the person's first initial on your palm once as you think their name while you head to your car. That small physical cue pairs with a thought and makes it easier to recall the next time you pull into the same parking lot and see them again. Noisy rooms and accents can make names slip even faster, and that's not a memory problem. It's a hearing problem, which is normal. Handle it with grace by leaning in and giving the sound your full attention. I want to make sure I heard you. Would you say your name one more time? Then echo the sound back in a warm way. If it's a name that's new to you, give it the respect of a quick repeat in rhythm. Jamila. If you're still not confident, one more gentle confirm. Thank you. Did I say that right? People feel seen when you care about the sound of their name. And by saying out loud in that little rhythm, you've stamped it into your memory with sound, not just sight. You might be wondering what to do when a name returns to you halfway through the conversation. Don't let it sit there unsaid. Bring it back in a way that feels natural. If you suddenly remember that the gentleman from art class is Daniel, not David, turn the next sentence into a friendly course correct. Daniel, I meant to ask about the blues you used for that harbor. It shows you care enough to get it right, and it reinforces the correct name for next time. Your brain loves a clean finish. There's also a simple little warm-up you can do that keeps your name muscles flexible, the same way you stretch your legs before a walk. Pick 2 faces from a photo album or the newspaper and give each one a quick anchor and a whisper of a name, even if you're making the names up for practice. This gentleman looks like a Jack. She could be a Nora, nose ring, Nora. 10 seconds each. It sounds playful, and it is, but you're training your brain to do the same thing faster in real life. You're not drilling. You're just keeping the pathways smooth. And while we're keeping things kind and realistic, let's talk about those moments when you're tired or overwhelmed and nothing seems to stick. Give yourself permission to be human. The goal isn't perfect recall, it's connection. If a name doesn't land, you still have a warm smile, a question about their day, a genuine interest in their story. Those are powerful on their own. When you carry less pressure, your memory actually loosens up and performs better. It's a bit like trying to thread a needle. The more you squint and tense, the harder it gets. Relax your shoulders, trust your little tools, and let the name come when it's ready. As you feel these techniques settling into your routine, you'll notice they weave together. A quick look and lock when you meet, a soft ask and anchor to confirm, a mental name tag floating above the shoulder, an alphabet jog if you blank, a twin link to someone you already know, a context rewind to the last place you chatted, and a graceful reset when you need it. You don't have to use them all. Pick one in the moment, maybe two. They're like keys on a keyring. Small, simple, and ready when you need to open the door to a person's name. What I love most is how these little moves change the feel of the day. You walk into church or an exercise class or the garden club, and instead of bracing for awkward gaps, you feel prepared. Names start coming back faster. People light up when they hear you say theirs. Conversations run deeper, and you feel like the best version of yourself, present, warm, and confident. That's the real win behind remembering names. It's not a party trick. It's a way to say, you matter and I'm here with you. If any of this feels new, start with the one that made you smile. Maybe it's the silly picture, Fancy Nancy. Maybe it's the alphabet jog with a quiet finger tap. Maybe it's a friendly reset line that takes all the pressure out of the moment. Practice on the next barista you meet, the neighbor on their morning walk, the volunteer at the library. 10 seconds is all you need to plant a seed. The more seeds you plant, the more names bloom right when you need them. I'd love to hear which one you're going to try first, or your own favorite trick that's worked for you over the years. Drop it in the comments so everyone can learn from your experience. If this helped you feel a bit more confident and a lot more connected, tap like so the video reaches more people who might need it. And hit subscribe if you want more simple, friendly tools for a sharper, happier life after 60. You've got a great brain and it loves to learn at any age. Here's to the joy of calling people by name, building bridges one hello at a time, and feeling proud of the small, powerful steps you take. You're doing wonderfully.